Hello, family. I am Metaphysical Ash, your go-to spiritual mentor and resource center. And today I want to talk about mastering relationships. So we need to understand the math, the mathematics of relationships, the geometry between the two. 1 plus 1 equals 3. 3. 1 plus 1 equals 3. What I mean by that, we have your energetic field, all the information, all the somatic expressions, we have theirs, all their information. Now, you've come together through resonance match. What are they teaching you about yourself? What does this mirror show you? How can you get closer to your full embodiment with your highest expression? How you do that is removing the filters, releasing the dissonance, the non-serving beliefs and behaviors. How do you figure that out? Through a mirror with another. 1 plus 1 equals 3. There's a third energetic construct that dictates the dynamic of these relationships. There's so much out there about narcissists, empath. Let me tell you, you are different ends of the spectrum that have come together to reconcile your differences. Learn from this. Are you the empath? Where do you need to establish stronger boundaries, not just in your behaviors, but in your energy? Because that is what you feed up into the structure, the third aspect that dictates the dynamic between the two. So you can take all the actions to develop boundary, but if you are allowing them into your thoughts, if their behavior is constantly creating sensation in your nervous system, it is impacting you. That's what you have to work on. Other end of the spectrum, we have the narcissist personality. A lot of narcissists aren't necessarily aware of their narcissism, but the ones who are and desire to be better, notice, pay attention to where you are unable to observe the emotional needs of other. You need to start seeing them as self, but understanding their lenses of perception, how they are experiencing the dynamic. So relationships are always a match. You have matched together, whether you're aware of it or not. The energies have matched. There is no chance. There is design. Everything in our physical reality, in this universal time construct, can be broken down into mathematics. It is a beautiful cosmic harmony that aligns us with every situation and experience, even the undesirable ones. So get to know yourself, the lenses through which you are experiencing reality. Once you have a deep understanding of who you are, how you see the world, what your experience is, then you'll be able to expand your consciousness and start to observe lenses of the other. The 1 plus 1 equals 3, that third energy. So it's not necessarily what you do, it's the energetics behind it. Ladies, men, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What is the true intention behind the actions you take in these connections, in these relationships? You got to check yourself, because that is exactly what's being fed into that upper structure, into that third structure. So, women, you use your sexuality, your charm, your seduction to get what you want. What happens in these situations? A lot of times you get hurt. You may get what you want, but in the long run, you get hurt because your intentions were impure. You manipulated. And a lot of times, there are a lot of beautiful souls. I know this. I've worked with you. Beautiful, kind, loving souls who know no other way to operate other than through manipulation. It's like they're unable to express vulnerability and be real and true. So they're operating through these lenses of perception with intent, which is not necessarily aligned with their highest expression of self. It's filtered through lenses of the ego. Men, connected with a lot of men who really want that deep connection with their partner, but they're scared. They're scared to show the truth. They're scared to be vulnerable. So they put on a facade. They act tough. They keep their options open. And this is fear of intimacy. It's fear of what a real union can do for you and for the collective. Why do you think that a majority of social programming separates the sexes? Because there is tremendous power in a union, in two individuals who are in their full power, honest, vulnerable, real, removing what gets in their way of creating a divine third structure, which is a very powerful energy. When you're in that union and you're operating, from that higher structure, from that understanding that other is self, I'll take care of me for me, you take care of you for you. And then you come together as two wholes. Mastering relationships, 1+1=3, is that third structure. We have to pay attention to our beliefs, the structures of consciousness that we are feeding into, what we believe is true. Observe yourself about relationships, about partnerships, about the dynamic and the part that each person plays, because you will be met with contrast to get to know yourself, to embody more of your limitless potential, your purest expression of source. And for a majority of us, it is not these lenses that we've been operating through. Those are the challenge. Those are the dissonance. That's what we came here to break free from. We have epigenetic patterning passed down, which turns into subconscious behavior in personal and romantic relationships. Take a look in this mirror. What is it showing you about you? Start to question what is true for you. Step outside of the situation, away from your individual perception, above the two and look at the dynamic. Pay attention to what happens when you feed this energy up. How do they respond? You're going to see the patterns that you're both running. Are you a chaser? Are you someone who has deep-seated doubt about your value that you can bring? Do you feel worthy of love? Pay attention to this dynamic. It's going to show you exactly where you need to do that work, that shadow work. So one of the biggest things I see talked about on the internet is narcissist and empath. There's a match, okay? Whether you're the narcissist or you're the empath, you are imbalanced. You're imbalanced. Lots of judgment about being with the narcissist. It's a spectrum. And everyone wants to feel sorry for the empath. I do not. And I've been both. Deeply empathic through a big portion of my life, and then the other end of the spectrum, which developed into narcissism, defense mechanism to protect myself from vulnerability, from knowing myself truly. They are both an imbalance. And as we pity the narcissist or the empath, like however we choose to look at that, it is not serving either individual unless it is from neutral observation. Neutral observation, higher perspective, just understanding that, oh, these two individuals have come together to overcome a program within the structure of consciousness that they are both feeding into. So we have the narcissist, we have the empath, these two power towers, human beings, creators, have co-created a situation based on their dynamics. So reconcile the differences. Come out of your, I'm an empath, I have to be so careful because narcissists are drawn to me. You're magnetizing, you're bringing them in. So you need to balance yourself. Narcissists, I can't feel, what other people are feeling. You need to feel yourself first. So these relationships show us, they show us who we are. And there is that third structure. So as you dive deep into the depths of your programming, and the more you try to operate from that program, the more resistance you're going to create between the two. Use these relationships to your advantage to evolve and elevate you. Do not fear this. Do not fear relationships, connection, vulnerability. That's another you. How can I align with my greatest expression of self and offer value to this dynamic between the two? So if you're over here as the empath, how can I offer value? You stand strong. You say no. You have solid boundaries, energetically, physically. If you're the narcissist, how can I offer value? Go inward. Start to work on yourself. Get that feeling back, The 1 + 1 = 3. It's a third. There's a third energy. And that third energy will help you understand exactly what programs, what personality algorithms you are running in your individual human, in your being. And that is the greatest gift. How do we figure out our programs? Interaction. When we start to entangle with the environment around us, you really get to know yourself. It's very easy to remain solid, sovereign, aligned when you are not out navigating the real world and getting to know your own contrast, meeting your shadow everywhere you go. It's easy when you never leave the house. But that's not what we came here for. So my advice to you is take a higher vantage point of the situation. Move outside of yourself. View yourself as a personality running specific programs put together by thought, solidified by emotion and feeling. There's your frequency. There is how you magnetize and align. Thought, emotion, comes the program, the flow, how you connect with these waves and this quantum ocean. Get to know yourself through these dynamics and be real. Be really honest about what you're feeding into the dynamic. You want this? Do you want it to work? Make sure that you're thinking positive, loving, supportive thoughts. You're feeding that to that third structure so that they are feeling that. And this can be challenging because of our lenses of perception, how each individual views and experiences reality. You may be feeding in love and they're receiving it in a type of way that is overwhelming and uncomfortable. Pay attention. You're at a higher vantage point. Notice how your energy is impacting them, the dynamic, and adjust course if necessary. How can I be of greatest service to the whole? How can I offer the greatest value to the entire dynamic? Perhaps that means moving closer, vulnerability, or maybe that means space, exit. Every situation is very complex, but the 1 + 1 = a third. There is that third energy. They are going to interpret everything that you feed into that third energy through their own lenses. So pay attention. This is part of mastering the human experience and one of the funnest parts, relationships. You got this. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time.